In conversation with Christine Callahan-Oke. Christine Callahan-Oke is a kid at heart. She's a little quirky, loves nature, and has been spotted talking to trees. She looks for beauty and magic in the small moments of life and believes people are far more amazing than they realize. Kristen lives in Ontario, Canada, with her husband and two sons and attempt to balance the household testosterone with her adorable cat, Bella. She's a contributing author to the five book in the 365 book series. The Torchbearer's Quest is a first novel. And on today's episode of Author Interview, it's my utmost pleasure and joy to have on the show today, Christine Callahan-Oke. How are you doing, Christine?
I'm great. I'm great. I'm so glad to be here and thank you for having me. It's a real pleasure.
Absolutely. It's lovely to have you on the show today, and you have such an amazing bio.
Oh, thanks.
I
It's
love
quirky like me.
I love the part of you talking to trees. Sounds like an amazing adventure. That's lovely. It's amazing having a conversation around your work. Thank you for coming on. Yeah, so Christine, could you tell us about your book, The Torchbearer's Quest? And I so much love the description of it when I read through a short snip of it on Amazon. And I'd like to ask you, how does this book come about? What inspired you to write The Torchbearer's Quest?
Well, it's funny because I never thought I would write fiction at all.
Mm,
I blogged for years and I thought maybe someday I will write inspiring nonfiction. So fiction was not on my radar. I love reading, but writing it, I never thought I would. And then back in 2015, I woke up from a dream where I could hear the words so clearly, this
well,
question, and it was, "Are you a storyteller?" I'm like, what? But it was so clear and so strong that it stuck with me, but I didn't really pay that much attention to it after that. And so, I mean, I'm someone that kind of likes to follow the cosmic breadcrumbs. Like I try and pay attention to different signs and whatnot around me. But again, I just tucked it in my head. And then about a week later, a Facebook friend posted about writing software, Scrivener, and it was on sale. And I
oh,
thought, oh, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'll write a book someday. Okay, it's on sale. I'm going to get the software. So I got the software and again, tucked that in the back of my head for someday.
mm,
But then after that, it's like I heard the question, I got the software, and then all of a sudden, this idea started coming in, coming in, coming in for this fiction story.
mm,
Like where is this coming from? What is this?
yeah.
And so, after a few days, more started coming and coming. I was like, okay, I guess I'm writing a book. So, so that's
Wow.
how, excuse me, that's how that got started. Yeah.
Wow, that's such an amazing one, really. I love the start of this, and I love getting to know about the foundation of the making of Torchbearer's Quest. Sounds like an amazing one, and I'm excited you eventually put into the call of becoming an author. Sounds quite fun, really. Yeah. And just in case of readers who haven't read the book yet, and without giving much information away, could we have a sneak of what we'd expect in terms of themes picking up, Quick Bearer's Quest? And if you
Yeah,
have a
yeah, sure.
copy of the
So,
book there with you, I'd love you to show
oh
to the
yeah,
camera just so we can see what it looks like.
yeah, right here.
Beautiful.
There you go. Yeah. Um, yeah, so I'll tell you just a little bit about the book and then I'll talk a tiny bit about the themes. So
Yeah.
the book is about Kate. She's 12 years old and she's in middle school and she gets bullied and betrayed by her best friend and then bullied by others and becomes the laughing stock of her school. She's going
Wow.
through a horrible time. But then that becomes the least of her worries because she discovers a mysterious crystal and gets told she is a torchbearer, someone who's meant to change the world. And she's thinking,
Mm,
that's nuts. I'm just trying to survive school. So anyway, she gets flung into this enchanted rainforest and put on this dangerous quest. So it's her trying to navigate that, trying to navigate surviving school and hopefully find some sort of sense of self in the process. So that's the
mm,
book in a nutshell. And for themes, there are a number of themes woven in, coming of age and self-discovery,
Mm.
magic and adventure, environmental conservation,
Wow.
bravery and standing up for what's right. I would say those are
Absolutely.
the keys. Yeah.
Yeah, that's such an amazing body of teams you've got there. It sounds quite amazing and sounds like something I love to pick up, you know. I love those teams you just mentioned. I love those
Too.
teams you just mentioned, and I'm just writing them down here so I can go through it over again. Thank you. Thank you for
Yeah.
mentioning. And now, you know, let's talk about inspirations and ideas, which to me, it's one of the amazing things that surprises me about how writers could come together, especially novelists like yourself, to craft long sentences that makes paragraph, that makes pages, that makes chapters, and eventually an huge, amazing novel. And sometimes it got me wondering, how did they get the ideas to write this book? You know, how did all of these ideas and inspiration come from? And now, as far as writing is concerned, I'd love to ask you too, how do you get your inspirations and ideas? Where did they come from?
Yeah, where do they come from? Exactly. I don't know. So seriously, they would, well, at least at the start, they were just coming in from
Mm,
somewhere. And then over time, I would sometimes I would be not looking for ideas or thinking about the story at all.
yeah.
And then ideas would start coming in some more. So I might be in the shower, or I might be heading to bed, or I might be meditating, or I might be going for a walk, and then little things will just little ideas will float in.
Pop
And
up.
so when that happens, I try and I've learned to make note of what's what those are so that I can then later weave them together
Mm.
into the story. Yeah. Yeah. But I suppose some of it is from reading different genres and some of it is from, getting out there and going for
Wow.
walks or whatever. But for me, for the first book anyway, it was just stuff that I was trying to grab as it was coming in.
Mm, that's great, actually. And I think it's actually a fun thing to ask authors and writers how they get the ideas. Because speaking with quite a lot of people, I've got some people say to me that they get their ideas from dreams. You know, they get their ideas from what they've seen around them or what they've been to personally. And so many ways writers get to come with inspirations to finally sit down and craft a book based on where the ideas is coming from. So it's quite lovely to know how you get yours too. Quite lovely to me. Thank you for sharing.
Cool. I'd be if you don't like, do you find for your own ideas like there's a certain way you get them, or they just
Actually, they just come to me like a voice speaking to my head, right to me, you know. And sometimes they even say to me some words that's kind of strange to me. But when I go back to look up those words in the dictionary, it's suiting perfectly to how I heard the voice. And then I'll be like, wow, this is extraordinary. And it want to make me look a bit of writing as a spiritual undertaking or something that's just defined, you know, something you find it difficult to even explain where it's coming from. A voice.
yes, I guess for me too, it's spiritual.
Yeah. I'm also curious to know if you experience any challenges while writing your book, if there's any. Could you share with us what challenge it is and how you ultimately overcame it?
Challenges. Does anyone write a book without challenges? I would be
I don't
shocked.
think so.
Yes, I definitely had challenges. There are two that stand out over the rest.
Mm,
The first one was when I started
yeah.
back in 2015, I was writing, I made progress for a couple of months, and then my computer died, as
Oh,
in it's dead, it's done. And so my manuscript was lost, but
wow.
that should be fine because I had a backup on Dropbox cloud storage, but my
Oh,
Dropbox files disappeared, as in
wow.
almost like they never existed. They couldn't be restored, they couldn't be found, nothing. And so all of my progress, except for some handwritten notes, all of
Wow.
my progress was gone. And
Wow.
so yeah, that was a bit of a blow. So what I did is I put the book on the proverbial shelf for a long time
Mm,
because I didn't have the heart to start over again. But
absolutely.
eventually, it was nagging at me again. Like in the back of my head, it's like this story wants to be written, this story wants to be written. So I started again and I eventually made it here. So that was one challenge. Another one I had, I don't know if you ever encountered this yourself, but with the editing process. And
Mm,
so this being my first book, I was new to all of this.
mm,
And so I would get edits back from, say, my first draft, my very rough first draft, edits back, and I would look at them and think, I have no idea really how to incorporate all of these and make all of the, like how to make everything flow in all the various parts of the story and make
mm,
these changes. So I'm just going
yeah,
to set it aside for a while. And then aside for a while means months and sometimes years. So so yeah, but eventually I
uh,
joined I'm part of a local writing group, but I also joined an online writing group that was
mm,
amazing for getting back into the swing of it and working through the questions I had because I had a
yeah,
support system in place. I could ask,
yeah.
how would I approach this or how could I do that? And once I didn't, once I knew I wasn't alone and I had a support system there, I could work through it, just take the time and sit with it and make all the shifts I needed to make. And that got me through. So
Mm. Wow, that's amazing, actually. And like you said, there is no writing without challenges. Every writing, in fact, every good thing, come with a bit of, a bit of headache, a bit of challenges, a bit of tough time with it. So yeah, it's lovely to know how you navigate through it, and it's lovely to hear about your challenges. Really, that sounds great to me. Thank you. And now,
uh,
apart from the Torchbearer's quest, do you have any other works you've authored or say currently working on?
So I will be starting the next book. It's going to be a series of, I
Wow.
think, five, maybe. I'm not sure yet how many, but it will be a series. So I'm going to start book two soon.
Wow.
And that this is so far my only novel, but I'm also a contributing author to five different books in an uplifting book series called the 365 book series.
Wow.
Um, but I'm just getting ready to, yeah, to start novel number two.
That's great. That's amazing, actually. And I hope that goes on successfully. Hopefully, when that is up, we'd love to have you back on the show to talk about it. That'll be fun.
Yeah, I'd love to be back. Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, could you tell us what publishing is like for a published author like yourself? And also, do you have any sort of advice that you would give to writers willing to write and publish in your particular genre? Would you love to give any advice to this?
Hmm. So publishing for me was empowering and a bit overwhelming because I
Mm,
was, again, new to the whole process and I didn't know how many moving pieces there were to all
mm.
of this. I don't know, are you traditionally published or
I'm
self-published?
self-published, actually.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So I am so glad I went the self-publishing route and I have learned so much doing so. But again, it was all new and it was all a lot to figure out. So I
Yeah,
wouldn't change it though. Yeah, it's been an incredible
yeah.
learning arc. So what would I recommend for people publishing in my genre? I would say read a lot in the genre.
Mm,
I would say join, I don't know, like participate in online events targeted at
absolutely.
that genre,
Yeah,
summits, different things where you're learning from people in publishing about that genre.
absolutely.
Learn what people are looking for.
Mm,
And then I think the last one, because of the genre that it is, which is middle grade fiction, have
mm.
fun. Like if it's something that you would really enjoy and dig into and read and go, yeah, then write it. Have fun with it, and enjoy because that's what someone else will feel that and want to pick it up and read it.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. It's such an amazing advice, really. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. I love the sound of it. And it's so nice too to know what you consider publishing to be like for you as an
Mm.
author. Thank you. Is there anything that you love to share with the viewers about your book that we did not mention in this interview and I'd love the viewers to know?
Yes. So the Torchbearer's Quest, the target age is 10 to 13, but really it's for adults as well.
Mm,
And adults are enjoying it as much as kids because on the surface, it's a fun adventure story. But
mm,
underlying, there are messages, sort of empowering messages for people who are facing doubt, self-doubt, people
mm.
who feel alone. And it's also a reminder that each of us can make a difference in the world.
Absolutely.
So
Wow.
there's a strong environmental, like a rainforest conservation component. And so I donate a proceed of all sales to an organization called One Tree Planted, and they are dedicated to global reforestation, and that's really important to me.
Mm. Wow, that's amazing, really. And I so much love your take. I love your take on this, really. I love the sound of it. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for mentioning as well. Thank you.
Mhm.
And just in case we have some viewers who are currently watching this interview, I would love to get a copy of your book. On what platform is it available on for purchase?
Yeah, so it's available worldwide through well, it's available online. You'd have a hard time finding it in stores across the world, likely because, until more people know about it, but they can find it online. So they can find it definitely on Amazon. And if people are looking for more options for purchase, they can go to my website at
Mm,
christinecallahan-oke.com. And on there, I have a purchase link, which will then take you to a number of different online retailers where it can be purchased.
that's great. That's great. And I left a link in the description part of this interview where interested viewers can get a copy of Christine Callahan-Oke book directly on Amazon and also on other platform. So thank you so much, Christine, for accepting the invitation to be featured on P English Literature. It's awesome having this conversation with you.
Thank you so much. It's been great chatting with you, and it's fun talking to another author, and I appreciate you being such a wonderful host. Thank you.
Thank you. It's my pleasure as well. Thank you.